Welcome to Front Range Anglers in Boulder, Colorado. We're glad you're here because we're going to talk about your fishing trip to Rocky Mountain National Park today. I'm going to take my mask off here again, welcome. The park is such a special place. We're so fortunate to have it at our doorstep. You get a chance to fish beautiful places for beautiful trout in a wonderful setting. So come on, let's talk about the park. We've got a number of opportunities in the park, and we can slice and dice it by the west side of the park, the east side of the park, the lower elevations, the higher elevations, the streams, the lakes. It's a lifetime worth of adventures. So let's kind of talk about the different zones in the park and the access points that you get to visit such a great fishing destination. Again, the park is roughly an hour from here, from Boulder, so it's close to the metro area and has tremendous access for a lot of people. With that said, there are people in the park, but not many of them are fishing. So that gives us a wide open opportunity to visit almost every part of the park from top to bottom. As you enter the park through the Estes Park portals, you're going to have some drive-up fishing, if you will, some lower elevation stream fishing. Could be the moraine, which is the headwaters of the Big Thompson, or possibly the Fall River, which is in the northern entrance from Estes Park. But all of them are going to offer some great fisheries, even pre-runoff. This isn't just a summer fishery. It can be an April fishery and a May fishery as well. But truth be told, the summer is when the park is really at its best, because you have total access from the low elevations to the upper elevations. But let's take a look at what we might expect on the Big Thompson in the moraine off Bear Lake Road, which is one of the most popular and common destinations in the park. It's a brown trout fishery, but there's a lot of brook trout in the Big Thompson as well. It's a meadow section of the stream, and with that said, you're going to be able to fish it in a number of different ways. Maybe in the springtime you could be chasing some pre-runoff stonefly hatches. But let's talk about the summer, because it's when most of the people are visiting the park and looking forward to their adventure. In the moraine, you're going to have an opportunity to fish terrestrials all summer long. It could be patterns such as beetles and ants, grasshoppers. Hoppers are especially popular all the way through September. We could be looking at some of the foam hoppers like the Charlie Boy hopper, or some of the classic patterns such as Schroeder's hoppers, Dave's hoppers. With that said, beetles and ants are so very important throughout that meadow section. The smaller beetles, smaller ants are always good because you can drop some small droppers off the beetles and the ants, as well as just fishing them straight dry. During the little bit higher flow seasons, you can fish some big terrestrials. The chubby Chernobyls, Jaegers, 409s, the hippie stompers are all wonderful patterns to drop a small dropper off of, such as a Copper John, or maybe patterns such as the Rainbow Warriors and Poison Tongues. All of these patterns can be very effective as a dropper in a size 16 or 18. So the moraine is a great destination for that lower, almost drive-up type of fishing. The Fall River is the same way. You can access that with a very short hike. The lower Glacier Creek, all of this in that same general portal area of the park provides some tremendous opportunities for short hikes, quick visits, happy fish, eating dry flies. Another lower elevation access would be the furthest southern portal to the park off of Highway 7, known as Wild Basin. Wild Basin has tremendous access in the sense that we have drive-up fishing along the North St. Vrain River as well, very short hikes with access to some great brook trout streams through the lower North St. Vrain River in Wild Basin. All of the waters that I've just described really don't even require hiking. But then from there, whether it be on the western side of the park, but we'll continue to kind of focus on our eastern side, you've got some wonderful mid-elevation waters as well. Some of them are the same that we've just described. For example, the headwaters of the Big Thompson starts way up at elevation, tumbles all the way through the park, through the moraine, eventually into the town of Estes Park as well. But those mid-level streams provide tremendous opportunities for summertime dry fly fishing after the runoff. So this is more of a July, August, September type of adventures in the park. The Big Thompson, Glacier Creek, Roaring River are all perfect examples. The North St. Vrain that we described earlier at these mid-elevation levels with pocket water, runs and glides, in using all of your classic attractor patterns. You could fish the park for days on end with classic patterns such as parachute Adams in different sizes. One of our very favorite can't leave with home outed pattern today is the missing link. The missing link can cross over a number of different hatch opportunities, from caddis to drakes to pale morning duns. All of those hatches are present at different times in the park. You've got, again, opportunities to fish your classic western hatches, or I should say patterns such as stimulators, yellow humpies. The chubby Chernobyl, of course, is one of the most popular flies on the planet today for good reason. It catches fish. Fish eat it. It's easy to see. And you can drop little beadhead patterns off a hippie stomper. Again, that would be in the low elevations or in these mid-elevation streams as well. So you can work through your smaller terrestrials on the streams, the Jaegers, the hippie stompers. You've got a classic elk hair caddis patterns. Our pearl and elk pattern is one of our very favorite patterns to use in the park at these mid-level streams. Most of these streams are going to be brook trout streams. Not all of them, though. You're going to have some opportunities to chase cutthroats. In some of the waters, brown. Some of the waters are rainbows. And there's certain stretches of the water that you can catch our Rocky Mountain National Park Grand Slam without moving your truck. Brook trout, and brown trout, rainbows and cutthroats, and all in the same stream. Most of the time you're going to find a stream that'll hold a predominant species of trout, for example, brook trout with cutthroats sprinkled in. But all of these streams have a huge opportunity for tremendous diversity in them. From there, we have what I think personally is the crown jewel of the park, and it's the high alpine lakes. Once you get up into the high alpine lake sections, of course there are streams. There's inlet streams, there's outlet streams as well. But the high alpine lakes in the park are so very special. Some of them are brook trout lakes, for example, Black Lake, Sky Pond, Lake of Glass. There are brook trout lakes in the park, but so many of them are greenback cutthroats. Of course, it's our state fish, our most revered fish on the Front Range, fish that went through an extensive restoration, brought back from, without the risk of sounding overly dramatic, what we thought was extinction, and to the point now that you or I can, on a very short hike or a very short drive, catch wild greenback cutthroats in Rocky Mountain National Park. I love the alpine lakes, and I spent a lot of this summer up there, and boy, it has been such a wonderful season for the greenback lakes. They're scattered throughout the park. Some of them are on Wild Basin. For example, there's Ouzel Lake, which also has Ouzel Creek, which is a wonderful destination. We have also in Wild Basin, Sand Beach. Certainly the most popular visited lakes, greenback lakes, are off the Bear Lake Road access points in Fern Lake and Bear Lake trailheads. We have Odessa and Fern and Spruce and Loomis, and each one is better than the one before. as great as all of these lakes are, most of the lakes don't hold big fish, but they're beautiful, they're wild, they're willing to participate. They love to eat dry flies, and I think that's what makes the high country, the alpine lakes, so very special in the park. There are other destinations that hold greenbacks as well. One of them is off the Lawn Lake Trailhead, which is off the Fall River access. The Lawn Lake Trailhead has, of course, Lawn Lake. It has Ypsilon. It has also Crystal. Crystal is known for the biggest greenbacks in the park, but not a big fish count there. But the others are all wonderful destinations, and the greenback is a very, very special fish. They love to eat terrestrials. You have to be prepared in the park to fish the alpine lakes with small terrestrials. Small ants, small parachute ants in a size 20 would be ideal. The small foam HI-VIS patterns by Umpqua and Lawson's would be a great choice. The fathead beetle is a wonderful pattern for the lakes as well. Small beetles, small ants are the ticket. From there, we have an opportunity to fish bigger in the lakes, but it has to come with the right conditions. If there's a little bit of chop, if there's a little bit of wind, maybe a little bit of clouds, they'll eat bigger. Size 12s, 14s, and 16s for these greenbacks is a great choice in the lakes if the conditions are right, but you have to be prepared to go small. Yeah, also, you have to fish light tippets, size 20 ants. We've got the GRIFFITH'S gnat in size 20s as well. Small dark midges, small dark terrestrials are all very, very good. Size 6X tippet. If you only brought one tippet size up to the park, a size 6X would be it. Size 7X can be helpful on the lakes. A size 5X is going to work as well. But if you brought one tippet size, it would be a size 6. 7.5 foot leaders are ideal because of the tight quarters, short casting that you're going to be involved with in the park. I absolutely love to fish 2 weights and 3 weights. It's what those rods are made for: short casts, small fish, wild fish, eating dry flies. 2 weight is absolutely a hoot. Heck, if you have a 1 weight, it was made for Rocky Mountain National Park. All good stuff. You can bring your 4 weight up to the lakes just in case it gets a little windy. Sometimes the fish misbehave and don't want to eat on top. You might even have to get a little down and dirty on them and fish some subsurface patterns in some of the greenback lakes or the brook trout lakes as well. Most of us love to fish the park for dry flies. It's why we go up. But there are patterns such as the jigged thin mint fished under the surface that can catch big brook trout and cutthroats in the deeper lakes that you might not be able to get up with your dry flies. The list of stuff that you need in the park is so slim. You need a handful of flies. You need a spool of tippet. You need a spare leader. You need some floatant. You need a small fly box. Container boxes are perfect. Umpqua makes a series of small boxes that were designed for your pocket. Pocket of flies, a spare tippet, and a little bit of lunch, something to drink in your backpack, and off you go. The hikes in the park can be anywhere from nothing, meaning that you're not driving at all, you park along the road and you jump into the stream, or 4 miles, 5 miles. The park kind of starts 3 miles from the trailhead in a lot of cases, your best adventures, but you don't have to be camping overnight, you don't have to be going on long hikes, but the hikes are available and they bring you to such special, special places, chasing little wild trout, eating dry flies, and you can do it. It's Rocky Mountain National Park. It's available to all of us. It's a short drive. We guide there. It's one of our favorite destinations because everybody loves going to the park. You can see some elk. The moose are making such a huge comeback. We see moose often in the park today. Mule deer and coyotes and marmots, and the list goes on and on and on. So we would love to help you with your park destinations, how to fish the park, when to fish the park, the different layers of the park, from drive up to short hikes to big hikes, the west side, the south access, the north access. It would take you literally the better part of a lifetime to fish all the opportunities that the park has to deliver. So thanks. We'd love to see you in the store. We'd love to take you to Rocky Mountain National Park. We'd sure enjoy helping you on your adventure. Thanks. Let's talk about flies for a minute. One of the neat things about the park is on how simple you can approach everything. Flies are fun. It's what we do. We collect flies, but the core collection can be rather simple. We have parachute atoms, missing links here. Truth be told, if you had a big collection of parachute atoms, missing links, and elk hair caddis in different sizes, you can fish the streams very, very well and very thoroughly. Foam terrestrials can be awesome. This happens to be a hippie stomper. This is a JC special pattern, the big buggy stuff to hold up a little size 18 beathead, rainbow warrior or poison tongue would be great. But that would be a classic collection of stream flies for the park. A handful of flies in a handful of sizes is all you need. The lakes sometimes can get a little crazier. Because of just the varied personalities that a lake can display. Terrestrials rule, beetles, beetle patterns such as the fathead and the LAWSON's HI-VIS. Parachute ant is awesome. The flying ant, Carl's flying ant, all of these provide a real good core for the alpine lakes, especially the cutthroat lakes. Of course, classic dry fly patterns too can be effective, parachute atoms, but smaller midge patterns can also be very, very important. GRIFFITH'S gnat and Sprout's midge are all very important because of that need to go down small sometimes. We'd love our fish on our lakes to eat big stuff like this all day, and there are times that they will, but you need to be prepared to go small also. From there, as far as the rigging that you're going to need, it's pretty simple, just like the flies. You don't need a wide variety. You don't need sinking lines. You don't need intermediate lines. You don't need all sorts of different terminal options. A good nylon floating leader is what you want and what you need. A 7.5-foot 5X would be ideal. A 4X is fine as well. 5X and 6X tippets, and again in nylon, again would be all that you'd need. Fluorocarbon can be very helpful as well if you decide to do some dropper rigs, but truth be told, simplicity is the key in Rocky Mountain National Park. So simple nylon fabrications are going to be more than adequate for you. We fish the park because we want to dry fly fish, and it's so much fun to see little wild fish eat your dry fly, and to help that dry fly float, we highly encourage you to use some form of floatant. The bug butter is a great choice. You put this on when the fly is dry, and then you use what we call the shimmy shake, the dry shake, for drying off your flies, a desiccant type of fabrication to dry your flies with. So a little bit of floatant, a little bit of desiccant, a real core package. As you can see, this could fit in pockets. Fishing off a lanyard can be helpful in the park as well. Small hip packs, chest packs are all you need, or like I said, a couple of different pockets on your favorite fishing shirt is perfect as well. While a 4-weight rod is fine, heck, you can fish a 5-weight rod in the park. So again, keep it simple, go to the park, catch some wild trout, have some fun. Thanks.